Hey everyone, so it's late 2025, the iPhone 17 Pro is out there looking all new and shiny, and you're here watching a video about a phone from 2023. You might be asking, why should I even consider the iPhone 15 Pro right now? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about because I genuinely think this might be the smartest, most value-packed iPhone you can get your hands on today. In this video, we'll cover how the design and that titanium frame have held up after 2 years of real-world use. We'll look at performance on the latest iOS 26 and see if the A17 Pro chip is still a powerhouse. We'll talk cameras, specifically the big difference between the Pro and the Pro Max, and of course we'll get into the nitty-gritty of battery life, and the one feature that makes this phone a surprisingly future-proof buy. So for full disclosure, this is my personal iPhone 15 Pro in natural titanium. It's been my daily driver since November 2023, so I've used it for pretty much everything. And just so we're clear, everything I say about this phone also applies to the bigger 15 Pro Max. The main differences are just the size, the battery, and that telephoto camera. The Pro has a 3x zoom, the Pro Max has a 5x. We'll dig into what that actually means for you later on. And yeah, I want to tell a story of my experience a bit in this video. My iPhone 15 Pro back glass shattered. Yeah, the back glass is cracked. That happened a few days ago, an accidental drop from about head height onto a rough floor. We'll talk more about this because it's actually a perfect real-world test of this phone's durability. I've already got the replacement glass on the way, and I'll even show you how easy it is to fix. So what was so special about this phone when it came out? I think the iPhone 15 Pro was the blueprint for the next generation of iPhones, and that's why it holds up so well today. It was the first Pro iPhone to use this aerospace-grade titanium frame. It made the phone noticeably lighter than the old stainless steel models, and these new contoured edges just feel so much better in the hand. It's a design that hasn't aged a bit. It also introduced the action button, replacing the old mute switch. Honestly, it's one of those things you don't realize you love until you have it. I have mine sometimes set to open the camera in silent mode, but you can map it to almost anything. And of course, this was the year Apple finally gave the Pro models a proper high-speed USB-C port. We're talking USB 3 speeds, up to 10 gigabits per second. For transferring photos and videos, it's a game changer. But the most important thing today, it has the A17 Pro chip, the industry's first 3nm chip. And that chip is your ticket into Apple Intelligence. More on that in a bit. All of this is important because with the iPhone 17 series out, prices for older models have dropped and the 15 Pro has landed in this incredible sweet spot. I was looking on sites like Backmarket and you can find these for anywhere between say $585 to $700 depending on the storage and model. That's a flagship Pro iPhone experience for what is essentially a mid-range price today. It's a steal. So about the crack, I dropped it caseless from about head height. The titanium frame, look at this, not a single dent or serious scratch. It's incredibly tough, but the back glass didn't survive. This tells you exactly what you need to know. The frame is built to last, but glass is still glass. And I've seen this online a lot. People in forums say the titanium holds up to drops way better than the old stainless steel or the newer aluminum on iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max in terms of dents and dings. But here's the good news. Apple made the back glass on this model much easier to replace. I ordered the part and look at this. A quick replacement and it's literally good as new. That's a big plus for long-term ownership. Now the display, it's a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR display with 120Hz ProMotion. Honestly, it looks just as good as the displays on the newest iPhones. The bezels are super thin, brightness is fantastic outdoors, and scrolling is incredibly smooth. It does not feel like an old phone. This phone is running the latest stable version of iOS 26 and it is just smooth. The new liquid glass animations Apple introduced are fluid, apps open instantly, and swiping between them is seamless. I ran a Geekbench 6 test and it scored 2,829 on single core and 7,272 on multi-core. For a 2-year-old chip, those numbers are still incredibly competitive and show this phone has a ton of power left in the tank. But honestly, the bigger deal for me is the 8 gigabytes of RAM. When I review older iPhones with 4 or 6 gigs, I constantly see apps reloading in the background. With this phone, that just doesn't happen. I can switch between a dozen apps and they're right where I left them. In late 2025, 8 gigabytes is the new baseline for a truly smooth experience. For gaming, it's still a beast. I play PUBG Mobile with all the graphic settings maxed out and it runs beautifully. Now it does get noticeably warm, especially after an hour or so of intense gaming. That's a known characteristic of these titanium models. The material doesn't dissipate heat as well as aluminum. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to be aware of. Let's talk cameras. The 48 megapixel main camera and the 12 megapixel ultra wide are the same on both the 15 Pro and Pro Max. They are fantastic. The photos are detailed, the colors are great, and they hold up incredibly well against newer phones. The real decision comes down to the zoom. The 15 Pro has a 3x optical zoom, which is about a 77mm equivalent. The 15 Pro Max has a 5x optical zoom, a 120mm equivalent. So which one is for you? This isn't about which one is better, it's about what you shoot. If you take a lot of portraits or find yourself wanting to just punch in a little bit, the 3x on the Pro is arguably more versatile. It's a classic focal length. If you're shooting sports from the sidelines or you want to capture details from far away, the 5x on the Pro Max is incredible. But be aware of the zoom gap on the Max. Anything between the main lens and the 5x lens is digital zoom and the quality is a bit softer. For my use, the 3x is perfect. Okay, let's talk battery. After 2 years and 461 charge cycles, my battery health is at 86%. Apple rates these batteries to hold 80% of their capacity at 1,000 cycles. So my phone's degradation is right on track. This is normal and expected. What does 86% feel like? On a day of moderate use, some social media, emails, music, maybe a few photos, I can easily make it to the evening. On a heavy day with lots of video recording or gaming, I'll definitely need to top it up by late afternoon. You're not getting 2-day battery life here, but it's still very manageable. One thing that helps is the new adaptive power feature in iOS 26. It intelligently manages things like screen brightness when it detects you're using more power than usual. I've noticed it gives me a little extra runway, which is a nice touch for an older battery. Running iOS 26 on here really makes it feel like a new device. The whole liquid glass design language is a huge visual upgrade over older versions of iOS. It's more fluid, the animations are new, and it just feels modern. I will say it did run a bit warm for the first day after the update, but that's normal. The phone is just re-indexing all your files. It settles down pretty quickly. But the biggest software story here is Apple Intelligence. This phone, the 15 Pro, is the oldest iPhone that supports it. That is a huge deal for future proofing. Now, I'll be honest with you, for me, it's just a branding AI right now. You know, Apple Intelligence by now is still in its early days, kind of like a beta, and I often find myself using more powerful alternatives like Gemini or ChatGPT. But having that support baked in means this phone will keep getting major new features for years to come. It won't be left behind like older models. This is what separates it from every iPhone that came before it. So what are the downsides? For a balanced review, you need to know what you're getting into. First, the battery. It's a 2-year-old battery and you will feel its age. It's the most obvious compromise you're making. Second, if you're looking at the Pro Max, be mindful of that zoom gap between 2x and 5x. And finally, a small thing. But to get those super fast USB 3 transfer speeds, you do need to buy a compatible cable. The one in the box doesn't support it. So where does that leave us with the iPhone 15 Pro in late 2025? You're getting a modern and comfortable design with a durable titanium frame. You're getting performance that still feels flagship level, thanks in large part to that 8GB of RAM. You get a fantastic camera system. And most importantly, you're getting a device that's future-proofed with high-speed USB-C and support for Apple Intelligence. When you combine all of that with a refurbished price that's hovering in the mid-range, the iPhone 15 Pro isn't just a good phone, it's an incredible deal. It's the point where you get almost all of the modern Pro experience without the Pro price tag. It is, without a doubt, the smartest iPhone purchase you can make right now. But that's just my experience. If you're using a 15 Pro, how has it been for you? Let me know down in the comments. If you have any questions, drop them there too. And if you found this helpful, consider subscribing for more long-term reviews. Thanks for watching.